Welcome. This is lesson 3.8, rates, ratios, and percents. Rates and ratios are used to compare two or more quantities measured in different units. If A and B are the quantities in different units, the rate of A per B is A over B, written as a fraction most times. Okay. Rates are often represented as unit rates, which is a rate per one given unit. The most common probably is miles per hour for time or for the speed. So what we're going to first do is just kind of look at some different tables and see how that applies to what we're doing. The table below shows the number of Democrats and Republicans in the Senate for the 102nd through 106th Congress. Okay, we're going to find the ratio of Republicans to Democrat for the 106th Congress. Name other Congress with the same ratio. Okay, so the ratio for Republicans to Democrats. Well, in this case, there were 55 Republicans and there were 45 Democrats. Now, if we reduce that by a factor of 5, that reduces to 11 over 9. Now, one of the other sets would have to have the same fraction or the same ratio for that. Now, to figure out what that would be, we can go through each set that we have there and reduce them. But you might notice for the 105th Congress, we have the same numbers. So the Congress that's going to definitely have the same ratio is going to be the 105th because we're dealing with the exact same numbers. So, of course, it's going to reduce to the same element. Okay? For Part B, we're finding the ratio of Democrats to Republicans for the 104th Congress. How can you use this ratio of Republicans as Democrats for the same 104th? Okay? So, for the 104th Congress, just looking back up at our chart here, we're finding the ratio of Democrats, which is 48, over Republicans, which is 52, and we can reduce that. So if we reduce 48 over 52 by a factor of 4, we'd get 12 over 13. Now, that was the Democrats to Republicans. Well, if they switch the ratios, Republicans to Democrats, all that would happen is the ratio would be flipped, and we'd have 13 over 12. And then for the last part here, for each Congress listed, there were 100 senators. What percent of the 102nd Congress were Democrats? What percent were Republicans? So if we look back at the 102nd Congress, there were 56 Democrats and 44 Republicans. So because it was out of 100, we could simply take those numbers and use them. So the Democrat would be 56%. And the Republicans would be 44%. Now our next table shows the number of students and teachers in the United States public schools during the school years listed. We can use your calculator to find the number of students per teacher during each of the school years listed. Round your answers to the nearest student. Okay? So, what we have here is we have the school years listed. So in 91 to 92, we have that there were 42 million students and 3.1 million teachers. So if we want to find the number of students per teacher, we're going to take 42.0 and divide by 3.1. and we would get about 13.5. So we'd round that to about 14 students per teacher. So if we were writing this is how we would write our unit rate, 14 students per teacher. Now in 1992 to 93, we had 42.8 million over 3.1 million. So we take 42.8 and divide that by 3.1. And that gives us about 13.8. So a little higher, but would still round to about 14 students per teacher. And in 95 to 96, we had 44.8 million over 3.4, and if we divided that, we'd get about 13.1. So it would actually drop down to about 13 students per teacher. So what we're going to do here is we're going to practice finding the unit rate or the average speed for this. So if we were spending $4 on 16 pieces of candy and I wanted the unit rate, I'd be taking 4 and dividing it by 16, which would give me a decimal. So this would be about 25 cents per piece of candy, which I'm just going to abbreviate as 25 cents per piece. Okay. If I had $1.59 for 2 quarts of lemonade, I would take 1.59 divided by 2. And that would be about 0.795. So we're going to round that to about 80 cents per quart. In number 5, we have $115 for 20 hours. So we're going to take 115 and divide that by 20. And that gives us about 5.75. So we'd make $5.75 per hour. If we were traveling 42,000 miles in 7 hours, we take the 42,000 divided by 7, and we get about 600 miles per hour. Now, if you look at number 7, it says Phillies playoff tickets sold out in 4 hours. Oh, that was back when they were good. A total of 23,000 tickets were sold for the game. At what rate did the tickets sell? So we would take the number of tickets, which is 23,000, divide it by 4, and get that they sold about 5,750 tickets per hour. Now, during the blizzard of 93, which I guess we'll be able to update that to the blizzard of 2016 soon, during the blizzard of 93, approximately 44 inches of snow fell in a 30-hour time period in Snowshoe, West Virginia. At what rate did the snow fall during the blizzard? So we're going to take the 44 inches inches, and we're going to divide that by 30. So 44 divided by 30. And we get about 1.46 repeated. So we're going to round that to nearest hundredth and make that about 1.47. So that would be 1.47 inches per hour. In number 9, it says a survey of 1,074 12 to 14-year-olds showed that 216 of them were dating. What percent of these 12 to 14-year-old students were dating at the time of their survey? So we would take 1,074. We would take 216 over 1,074 because we want to get the percentage. So we're going to take 216 out of the total 1,074. And we get 0.2011. So I'm going to round that to about 0.20. As a percent, that would be about 20%. And another example we have here is you received a $12 tip on a bill of $70 from a customer. What percent of tip did you receive? So to find the percent, we would take the 12 out of the total of 70, and we would divide 12 by 70. And that would give us about 0.17. So we're going to round that to about a 17% tip. Okay? Now you're going to have the chance to practice all these different things, mostly unit rates, but a couple of other word problems that you're going to try. Do the best you can on your classwork. It will be collected. Same with the homework, but we'll go over the homework tomorrow in class, and I'll take any other questions that may come up.